Welcome to Land Administration S'mores, where complex land issues meet campfire clarity. My name is Jack McKenna, geospatial consultant and land administration subject matter expert. Our topic of discussion: the purported architect of the Australian system of land registration, Robert Torrens Jr., an early colonial administrator, controversy and legacy. Note: this discussion is based on information acquired from newspaper articles and Australian state records. Overview: Robert Torrens Jr., the proverbial loose cannon. The Torrens system, the catalyst for human rights violations and land rights beyond Australia. The Torrens system and human rights violations in land rights. Originally developed to meet the unique needs of colonial Australia, the Torrens system was never intended as a universal legal model. Yet, several international courts have embraced and imposed its doctrines, often in direct substitution for the land statutes enacted by their own legislators. This judicial importation undermines legislative intent and has, in many cases, resulted in the unlawful deprivation of citizens' statutory land rights. We continue this discussion with a scrutiny of the bizarre and impetuous conduct of Robert Torrens during his tenure with the Government of South Australia. Robert Torrens Jr. Mr. Torrens was an early colonial administrator whose methods often placed him at odds with standard bureaucratic expectations. He was appointed as collector of customs, a role of considerable responsibility in a formative period of the colony's development. His administrative tenure was not without controversy. Controversies: his policy to cut wharfage rates without securing the necessary approvals resulted in confusion regarding his accounting systems. His approach to governance leaned heavily on personal judgment and autonomy. In his first year, he made significant, unapproved operational changes, actions which raised concerns about procedural discipline and oversight. Controversies continued. Further reports from the period noted lapse in clerical precision, particularly regarding pay list management. He also drew criticism for periods of unexplained absence from official duties. These issues culminated in a formal censure, but he retained his position, reflecting the limited pool of qualified administrators in South Australia. References to Robert Torrens. Contemporary records and official correspondence referring to Robert Torrens Jr. primarily mention his censure for reducing wharfage rates without proper authorization. They do not include evidence of personal cash collections from ship's captains. The Australian Dictionary of Biography and even Torrens' own Wikipedia page detail administrative controversies. State records of South Australia hint at irregularities in record keeping and finances, but contain no explicit reference to ship's captains paying Torrens personally for wharfage. The true creators of the so-called Torrens system. This list tells exactly who did create the Torrens system. It was not Torrens. The table summary. It appears that Robert Torrens Jr. was not the architect, but a hijacker of the Torrens system. Huve and Andrews were the minds supplying the legal theory and structure. Registry and survey staff were the machinery without whom the system couldn't function. Critiques on Robert Torrens. Many critiques centered more on Torrens' methods, his lack of written authorization, than on wrongdoing. Public outrage, terms like piratical and insane antics, expressed strong condemnation. Newspaper coverage. The Ville de Bordeaux shipping incident and Torrens' role. Torrens and his team launched an official chase of the Ville de Bordeaux, a French vessel. According to the article, the only steamer in the area was the paddle steamer Courier, and Torrens, together with the harbour master and a party of armed police, set off in pursuit of Ville de Bordeaux in the Courier on the afternoon of the 21st. That was in 1841. Torrens and his team, including harbour master Captain Lipson and the armed police party, launched the official chase aboard the Courier. Why? Well, possibly purported unpaid wharfage fees. Consequences of the Ville de Bordeaux shipping incident, a French ship. Costs were incurred by Captain Lipson and R.R. Torrens in an action against them for illegal imprisonment brought by some of the crew of the Ville de Bordeaux in 1845. The precious mess into which the collector of the customs has brought himself, Mr. Torrens seizes her, the Ville de Bordeaux, as a lawful prize to the Queen of England. The failed seizure attempt of the French vessel Ville de Bordeaux. If Torrens' seizure attempt of the Ville de Bordeaux had been lawful and validated by a competent court, a portion of the vessel's value, called prize money, or a share of the proceeds, could have been awarded to Torrens as a seizing officer. He attempted to claim the vessel in the name of his queen, but the claim was wrongful and unsupported by law. Torrens' only reward for the vessel seizure was a considerable professional embarrassment and disciplinary censure he suffered. Conclusion. Legacy of a controversial colonial figure. Robert Torrens Jr. was a divisive administrator. His unorthodox methods and personalized governance style led to significant institutional clashes and public outrage. The Ville de Bordeaux incident encapsulates the overreach and impetuosity that marked his tenure. Despite formal censure, Torrens remained in office, a reflection of the colonial government's desperation for scarce leadership and expertise. Conclusion continued. Torrens' legacy is a complex blend of personal ambition, controversy, administrative turbulence, and almost certain corruption. No country outside Australia has implemented the Torrens system in its pure, original form. While some nations have adopted modified or partial versions through legislation, these frameworks often differ significantly from the original South Australian model. Despite these statutory distinctions, some international courts have gone further, judicially importing Torrens doctrines in ways that override enacted land law legislation. This often leads to the deprivation of land rights that are protected by statute. Final observations. Significant unapproved revenue collection changes by Torrens in South Australia raised concerns about the procedural discipline and oversight. Having Robert Torrens responsible for revenue collection in South Australia was akin to having the fox guard the hen house. One might suspect that when he returned, or did he flee, to England in 1865, he had amassed a healthy stash of pounds, shillings, and pence to finance his political ambitions in England. He served in the British Parliament from 1868 to 1874. Additional comprehensive land administration information is available in the Jack McKenna book, A Land Administration Toolkit, available on Amazon. I can be contacted, Jack_McKenna at landdataplus.com. Thank you for your time and interest.